Hi there, I'm Professor Blackmore and welcome back to my channel. And today I'm coming back to you to talk about concealed carry weapons permits in Los Angeles, California. And before I go any further, I want to emphasize the fact that everything that I'm saying in this video relates only to Los Angeles County, California. And this is a follow-up video. So if you want to know everything you need to know about how to complete Sheriff Villanueva's CCW permit application, please watch my prior video. And I'll place a link to my prior video below, and you can find detailed information on Sheriff Villanueva's CCW permits website located right here. And I'll also place a link for this website below, but you want to be sure to watch my video because I show you how to navigate the information and how to cut through all of the BS, because I've already completed these steps. And I've also provided a sample needs-based statement that you can use in support of your reason for needing a CCW permit in Los Angeles County, California. But as stated in my prior video, Los Angeles County Sheriff Villanueva has substantially lowered the needs-based standards, but you still need to be able to meet all of the other requirements like the background check, etc. So today, I want to update you on some of the steps that are subsequent to the step for submitting your application based on what I'm hearing since Sheriff Villanueva first ramped up this program. And Sheriff Villanueva, if you have time to come on my channel and talk to us about this, call your girl. I mean, I don't know how many times I've already called and emailed, but I understand you're busy dealing with all of this crime and all of these criminals. So I understand, but I'd love to have you on here. But anyway, so the first thing I want to talk to you about is the wait time. And as you can imagine, when Sheriff Villanueva opened up the escalated version of this program, and as a result of the rampant lawlessness in Los Angeles County, people have flooded the sheriff's office with applications. So let me say right off the bat that this is a very time-intensive process, and you'll do well to exercise an extreme amount of patience in the process. Now, when the sheriff first escalated the program, it was taking several months before one of his deputy investigators will call you in for your in-person interview. But in recent months, this time period is starting to decrease as the sheriff has assigned more deputies to the program. But you still want to exercise extreme patience in this process. So now, after you submit your application, and I encourage you to sign it in all places, as I advised in my first video, and just mail it in via certified mail with a money order. And if it passes the smell test, an investigator will call you in to go over everything in the application in person. Then you'll sign a certification swearing that all of the information that you provided in the written application is true and correct. And even though the needs-based standards have been lowered by the sheriff, you're going to go further if you can establish that you have a business that maybe requires you to have cash or other valuables that would increase your profile for criminals seeking to commit criminal acts. So you want to keep this in mind in your processing of your initial application as well. And so when you attend your in-person interview, you want to bring your California seller's permit or any other business records you may have, including any bank records, PayPal records, information establishing your business's online presence, like any website or other online store information. And at the time of making the appointment, the deputy sheriff will send you an email listing the documents you'll need to bring. But you'll also need a document establishing that you live in the county, like a utility bill or a vehicle registration. You'll need your birth certificate or a passport. And you'll also need to have on hand your California driver's license or identification card, etc. But please be sure to follow the information and instructions that will be provided in that email sent to you by the deputy sheriff. Now, after the deputy investigator and the investigative team reviews your documentation and your in-person interview information, and they're satisfied that you have a clean background record and/or that you actually do pass the smell test and you pass the federal and state background check, you'll receive an email like this that details instructions on how to complete the CCW firearms training. And you'll need to complete the 8-hour training, and you must use an instructor on the Los Angeles County Sheriff's CCW approved vendor list. Now, depending on the instructor, you might not have to stay there for an entire 8 hours. But I'm not going to get into all of that. That's none of my business. And you'll need to take a written test. And it's very easy. But again, all of these matters are within the purview of the instructor that you choose. Now, after the written test, you'll need to score at least 70% on your required live fire firearm shooting proficiency exercise. And again, this 70% is totally within the purview of your selected firearms instructor. Now, I had a very delightful instructor. I completed this training in one day. And so today, I'm going to take you to the firing range so that you can get a feel for what this process looks like. And you'll remember from my prior video that I have a small .32 caliber Beretta Tomcat ACP with a tip-up barrel. And it performed well for my CCW firearms training certification because I never had to rack the weapon. And now here is my little .32 caliber Beretta again. And here is the tip-up barrel that I was talking about. So you have the ability to load a cartridge directly into this tip-up barrel. And so you'll load all of your cartridges into your magazine. You'll go ahead and insert your magazine. And then you'll load one single cartridge into the tip-up barrel. And then once you snap it closed, you're ready to go. And all of the remaining cartridges in the magazine will load automatically. But you do feel a different bit of a kickback on that second cartridge, but it levels out a bit thereafter. Now, you'll need to make sure that you bring the same weapon or weapons that you have listed on your CCW application, and you'll need to perform your training on each one of the weapons that you have listed. So you'll want to keep that in mind. You'll also need eye protection and hearing protection. I had these hearing protection inside and a pair on top as well, because you don't want to take that for granted. It's going to be very loud, and you want to make sure that you're protecting your eyes and your hearing. And most importantly, you'll need about 100 rounds of ammo because you'll need to fire about 72 rounds during that exercise for one weapon. So you'll have to fire 17 to 24 rounds at the distance of 3 yards, 17 to 24 rounds at the distance of 5 yards, and 17 to 24 rounds at the distance of 7 yards. And you must have at least 70% of your rounds within the 7 ring of the B27 paper target. So now Professor Blackmore is going to take you inside of the firing range so I can show you how easy this is to accomplish. And now, although it's grueling to go through 17 to 24 rounds at 3 different positions, if I can do this, well, anybody can do this. If I can do this, trust me. And for the purpose of this particular demonstration, I'll only be firing 50 rounds because I'm firing, again, a .32 caliber Beretta, 30-32 Tomcat APC, And the 32 caliber ammo is extremely hard to come by these days. And I'll be conducting today's demonstration over at Firing Line Indoor Firing Range in Burbank, California. And I suggest this firing range for women. I mean, you know, this video is for men too, but I want to talk to the ladies out there. If you want to go to a safe firing range where the people will be very, very helpful to you, there is a camera inside of the range that points right back out to the parking lot. They can see everything that's going on. It's fully lighted all the way around, and the people are extremely, extremely helpful. Then this is the place for you. And this men, I suggest you go over there too. But for women, if you want to have a place where you can go to fire your weapon in a very safe and helpful atmosphere, this is a great place. Firing Line Indoor Firing Range in Burbank, California. And tell them that Professor Blackmore sent you over there. And here are my results. Now, that was a lot of fun, but you won't believe this, but somewhere along the way, I lost the pin for my clip release on my gun, so I had to load each round one by one. And one thing that I want to note for the ladies, again, is how much I love the ease of use of the tip-up barrel on my Beretta, because I did not have to rack the gun one time during my actual firearms exercise, nor did I have to rack it one time during my demonstration. And when I had this snafu with the loss of the pin in my clip release, having the tip-up barrel made it easy to reload when I had to switch to loading the ammo one by one. But here again is where you want to have 70% of your rounds. So if you're firing 72 rounds, you'll need about 50 in this area. I fired 50 rounds, so I have my 70%, as you can see. But anyway, after you have completed your firearms training, your written test, and your live fire shooting exercise, your instructor will sign your shooting exercise scorecard, and he or she will provide you with a signed training certificate reflecting your 8-hour classroom training, your written test score, and your shooting passing test score. Now, you'll want to follow the instructions provided in your email, but your email may look like this. But again, I advise you not to assume that your email will read exactly like this email. This is just an example. You'll want to follow the instructions provided in your email and return these two documents in the manner instructed. The email also provides instructions on what to do to retrieve your permit after you've submitted your firearms training certification documents. All right, I'm Professor Blackmore, reporting to you from ProfessorBlackmore.com at the Guns Shop. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up, and please also subscribe to my YouTube channel, and please also click the bell so you'll be notified whenever I post new videos. And please also follow me on TikTok and Instagram.